For a change, I am not going to follow the PPT. I am going to explain you the things how like server bypassing works. Before that, give me a little bit understanding what exactly do you mean by server bypassing? Anybody? So what exactly server means? Yeah.
The server means it could be a database server, it could be a mail server.
It would be a database server, it would be a mail server. But the main point, you can say, but the main point, yeah.
In a simple language, I can say server is which serves the response once we make the request. In simple language.
Okay. Basic thing, server is somewhere set up as a database, but it is running an operating system. Always. Because if you want to run a database, it will require an operating system to run. Right? So basically server means some Linux machine or Ubuntu machine or Windows machine which is running somewhere remotely and it is giving us the access of the data. It has some storage part. So server in movies or let's say in companies you might have seen lot of racks are there. Those are basically the CPUs. Those are basically having good processing powers. Those are basically having good RAM as well as it is having good memory capacity. So these are cloud servers. Today I have brought this Raspberry Pi, which is going to act like a mini server for us. Okay. So before going to server bypassing, one more thing. Can I access the server from like going to a network or how can I access it? Will it be like a cloud system or will it be locally set up here? What do you think?
Cloud based.
Cloud based.
Actually, it depends. It is in local network or it's on-prem. If you want.
Yeah. So server, two types of servers are there. If we are accessing it virtually, maybe it might be a cloud server where somewhere the CPU is being set up and then we are accessing it remotely. Like for example, the best thing Azure or Google Cloud. We can access it just track.google.com and we can access it from anywhere. Right? But now if I want to set up it locally, there is one important thing that we need to be in single network. Single network means what? Suppose I am using SecurityBoat Wi-Fi. Okay, that Wi-Fi link will always be connecting to the server. But my device from which I want to connect to the server, it should be connected to the same Wi-Fi if I am using it locally. Otherwise, I won't be able to access the same server whenever I want. Okay, so I just start displaying my server first so that you will get an idea of what exactly I am doing. Okay, so this Raspberry Pi, I have one small micro SD card. Sorry for the disturbance, but yeah. So this particular micro SD card is being deployed in such a way that I have booted it with Kali Linux in it, and I just have to swap the micro SD card whenever I want to swap some new operating system. I don't have to worry about that. मैंने तो Kali Linux deploy कर दिया. Now how I will be able to run Ubuntu system? I just have 2-3 memory cards and I can use it whenever I want. Raspberry 4B. Okay. So now I am just checking whether it is giving me an IP address. Okay, so basically Raspberry Pi has inbuilt Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, both the things. So it is right now having LAN 0, that is the Wi-Fi interface that is being embedded in it, and it is giving me the IP address 192.168.0.16.7. Okay, so basically now I want I want to connect this system remotely. How will I do it? It is a big problem. I will have to access this IP address. So how I will do it? I will just make sure I have my Kali device with me. I have my system with me, and I can just do SSH, that is secure shell, and I will try to connect it using the username. So for this, I will need to know exactly what username should this arguments have. But now this is a tricky situation. Can I deploy multiple users in one system? Yes, we can. Right? It is a server. हम लोग Windows use करते हैं. Windows has we can keep many users. If we are having siblings, Rahul, let's say Hrishikesh, Rahul, we can just do it. Similarly, here also we can deploy multiple users and we can access those multiple users whenever we want. So that's how mini Raspberry Pi is being converted into a server. So now I would like to again switch back to my PC so that I would be able to give you the exposure of how I can connect it. Okay. Now at this moment, I am switching to my virtual box areas. So this is my system. Okay, I have deployed virtual box areas. Now what exactly I am going to do is I am going to type SSH space. I know the user, that is Kali 192.168.16.7. See, can you read the user? Kali, right? But now, what exactly I am right now Kali user. That means I am not having any administrative privileges. Okay. So at this moment, I want to get into administrative privileges. I might try because I know the password, so it is easy for me now. So I am not doing in my system. I am doing in Raspberry Pi. Okay, so I am directly into the calculus with administrative privileges. So if I just type UMI again, I am having this root access. So it is not a bypassing technique. It is just how we connect to the cloud server, and or let's say how we connect to the servers, and then we get the access of this is our main agenda as an ethical hacker, as an hacker. But now the same thing, okay? I don't know what is the username, I don't know the password. Now, how will I connect to this server? This is a big question. So, for this thing, we have a solution. So, if I know the IP address of this and I am already in a network, okay, I will use one of the best tools which is used for brute forcing, that is Hydra. Okay, so Hydra space. Now, always remember every time, okay, if it is small l, that means I am going to give username. But if it is capital L, that means I am going to give the path of which exactly the list I am using for username. So for now, I am not going to brute force like this. I know the Kali. It is Kali. I don't want to overload my Raspberry Pi, otherwise it will crash. So this is how. Now at this point, I don't know the password. Let's just assume. So I'll type dash p. Now I have to give the path. The most powerful word list, always remember, is rocky.txt. Apart from that, if there is Unix, so Unix usernames are there in the word list itself. How to navigate to those word lists? Simple. Go to user, share. Always have the habit of using tab. If I just click word list and tab, see, automatically it completes the word of that directory if it is there in the system. Okay. So word list. I don't know. I don't want to use document.txt. See, I have these many word lists. So if I want to go to fasttrack.txt, I can just use it. Okay. For now, I am not using any word list because let's just say that it will overload the Raspberry Pi. 192.168 dot 60.7, sorry. 60.7. So always remember, because SSH was open, that's why I said SSH. Apart from SSH, we can use RDP, we can use TFTP, we can use FTP, anything, depending on which service is running. Now, going a little bit one step back. Now, how do I know that okay, this service is exactly running in it? Best example, I hope you guys are noted this. Okay? Best example is nmap dash p dash. I'll say for now to skip the time, and I'm going to say first 100 ports I want to scan for the IP address 192.168.60.7, and this is how nmap scan will run and give us port number 22, which is SSH. So that's how port numbers are very important in cybersecurity, because through port numbers you will be able to get into the network, or let's say get into that particular system. Okay, so IP address is the home location, but exactly which home? For this thing, you will need port number. It is like having a room, which is this is like idea is in that. So this is the place, but where is the door? That will be the port number. So port numbers are very important. Let's say FTP 21, SSH 22, Telnet 23. All these ports you should learn by heart so that you won't be able to, you will not be confused and you will be quickly able to attack it. Okay, that's how the server bypassing takes place. I have given you the virtual example of how the server bypassing takes place. This is one of the methodology used for getting into a server. Okay. Okay. Now coming back to okay, the components of Raspberry Pi, how much it is capable enough. So there is one more thing, like there is one more hardware Arduino, but it is not capable enough to process anything. It is very, it has very low level of processing power. So yeah. So for this, Raspberry Pi has 3.0 USB ports, 2.0 USB ports. It also has Ethernet port. It has mini HDMI. So two mini HDMIs can be connected through Raspberry Pi. You might have seen Raspberry Pi there are many applications. Recently, I have seen Raspberry Pi in metros. Delhi Metro, I had seen Raspberry Pi. It was literally having that processing power to generate or let's say process the metro related things. So that's how capable Raspberry Pi is. Then in metro, if I say what it might be processing, वो जो line है ना this station or something like that it might be processing. I'm just assuming. I'm not. Now, the best technique, or let's say if I want to search for a target, so Google Talking is the best way. If you are not very good at Googling, that means you won't be able to become a good hacker. Why I will tell you. In Google, let's say I want to search for a name. Okay. For now, I am going to take my example because I have tried it 100 times. So if I just say see, can you see the search results? It is 3,95,000 results. Same thing I am applying, but in a different way. Now check the results. It is directly cut down to 591 results. Why? This is how we narrow down the searches. Now there are different types of it. So let's say if I want to search about a site, let's take an example of Amazon. Okay, let's take an example of timesofindia.com. Okay, these many reasons are there, but I don't want to use quotes because it will not detect it. See, now I will get all the results related to Times of India, but now I want specific information. So if I say in title, if I say packing, first you will try to ask whether you are a robot because you are to do the Google login. See, only two results. That's how you will narrow it down. So, will Google Talking will work for me to attack any server or will work for me to narrow down something, some target? Yes. Its impact is very big because let's take an example. You are trying to find out Amazon.com. Okay, it is having a directory which is having one internal directory has been exposed to the Google. Okay, but you are somehow able to find it through Google Document. This will cause a very big problem of information disclosure because if that directory is of employees, then it will be a biggest problem for Amazon. We can just target the Amazon employees and then we will be able to get what we want. So that will be the biggest issue in Google Talking. So that's why Google Talking is used rigorously all over the world by the government hunters also. So that they will be able to find out some of the other internal IP addresses. So this is one of the major things, or let's say this is an art to develop, so that we will be able to get what we exactly want about that target. Let's say the most important information. Okay. Now it's not just Google Talking. If I want to see whether In URL is one of the technique where if I want to search anything related to cameras, I won't be able to search anything related to cameras. So this is also one of the technique where we can access the internal cameras all over the world. I'm not going to do that so because here I cannot explain or I cannot predict what will be showcased in the camera, and this is a live session, so I cannot take the risk from seeing any live cameras. But there is also one more site, that is Google Hacking Database. In Google Hacking Database, if we just click here camera, we will get similar thing related to web camera. See, in title, index, cam. So if I am copying this, see, I will be directly able to find out the camera related, let's say Google logging techniques. So in Google Hacking Database, I will get a lot of different techniques so that I will be able to get more information about the targets. So I cannot say that okay, this will work every time or only this particular code or technique will work, but there are many different techniques that we can obtain. So if I say in title, but okay, I don't want or, I can paste or, I can say site equal to Amazon. So it will show me the results of both, either this or that. If I want to say and, this will also work. No searchability. So that some Amazon is not having any cameras, let's say, for example. I said or, so it was showing me everything, either this or that. But if I say and, it is not exposing any of the webcams. So that's how Google logging is working. Okay, this is one of the technique which is very important, or let's say it is a base for server hacking, because we have to find out more information about the target server so that we will be able to get into the server easily. Okay, clear है यहाँ तक? Everybody? Now, this is one of the best attack vectors that I wanted to talk about. First is phishing. Everybody knows what is phishing. Everybody, here in the room itself, everybody knows what is phishing. But what is email attachments? Link is up. Link is up? कंपनी को जब मेल डालते हैं तब एक्सेस फाइल उस फाइल के साथ एम्बेड करके डालते हैं. ओके, वो एम्बेडिंग कैसे होता है? सॉरी, ईमेल का अटैचमेंट ऑप्शन होता है, सिस्टम को अटैच करता है. ईमेल का अटैचमेंट ऑप्शन होता है. Gmail also scans the files. Then so there are some techniques basically which are able to send malicious files. Okay. Now in phishing attack, if I want to mix this with phishing, first thing हम लोग unsubscribe का बटन भी प्रेस करते हैं. That also has malicious things. Okay. virus.total is the best tool to check whether this unsubscribe button is having malicious link or not. virustotal.com. If everybody knows or those who don't know, try to Google. You can just right click on it, copy the URL of the unsubscribe button, and then try to check whether VirusTotal is giving us some malicious outputs, so that it will scan using several different antivirus companies. So that is one of the best tools. Vulnerability exploits. Vulnerability exploits will have many types. So exploit might be in the form of bash script, exploit might be in the form of Python script, Java code, or let's say Ruby, all the languages. तुम लोग जितने भी साथ पाल के रखो, वो सारे languages आ जाएंगे, right? So exploits can be developed in any language, in any form. It can be deployed and executed. It might be exe in Windows, it might be .sh file in Linux. Okay. Last is insider threats. Company employee. But insider threat might work in different way. Suppose unknowingly, अगर I am working in our like SecurityBoat environment and मैंने marketing team को मैंने कुछ एक file भेज दी, उन्होंने publish कर दी. Unknowingly, it might be an insider threat. I am not saying, but it is one of the perspective through which the file is being sent. This happened with me in one of the company. I will not take the name. So the marketing person was one of the higher authorities, and she asked me, Hrishikesh, please send me the security techniques of what we are going to use. And she posted it in the official group where all the employees were there. And I was like, what have you done? Please unsend it. And unfortunately, she again made a mistake. She unsent. She did not press on the unsend button. She pressed on delete for me button. So that's how information disclosure took place. So insider threat, I am not saying you are an insider threat, but employee training should be done so that this kind of problems does not take place, knowingly or unknowingly. These are the two perspectives. Okay. Before moving to web attacks, okay, one of the important things that is that I want to tell you. Has anybody heard about Z-Fisher? What exactly Z-Fisher does? Creating malicious links. No? I'll show you right now. Okay, so this is the GitHub page of Z-Fisher, where we can try to fish the user so that he or she will input the username and password and we will be able to get the things. Cloning of websites is done using Z-Fisher. Okay, so do you want the demo? I'm not provoking you to do that, but if you want it, I can definitely showcase it. Okay.
We need something about it, Angular on top.
Okay. So which website do you want?
SecurityBoat registration.
नहीं ये automated tool है. Spotify. Spotify हैक करके क्या करोगे? गाने सुनोगे? पेपर. Okay. So very quick on 06. I do it locally for custom code. So I have got this URL. Complete cloned URL. This you can forward the link by using port folder. So you can send it to anyone and they can go first. I'll just type for now. To begin with. Got it? That's how in the backend that attacker is able to get the responses of the people. This I can do it in different way also. So I had attended one of the hacking seminars where I don't remember his name, but he was an OSCP certified, and he tricked me into social engineering. So how he did was, he was like, "Hey Hrishikesh, can you come please just type your Facebook? Don't worry, I'm not going to hack your password or something." He literally typed facebook.com and it was completely fine. Facebook.com है कुछ नहीं problem. And he was like, "अरे shit, कुछ तो भी internet का issue हो रहा है मेरा वैसे भी." And he tricked. Unfortunately, I was not looking into that like URL, and he opened. Next time, अरे हाँ इसमें एक टाइम में open है. And I was like, हाँ ठीक है Facebook.com है. I didn't check whether it was the URL was okay or not. I just typed the password and वो सबके सामने ऐसे दिखा रहे हो, this is your password. So that's how social engineering technique you can use it. मैं provoke नहीं कर रहा हूँ again. Do it at your own risk. Please make sure you do not attack anybody. Moving forward, web attacks. So web attacks might be in a different way also. So is it always related to something coding? What do you think? Web attacks may have a code करना है, and then we are able to then basic knowledge है.
basic
कोड लिखने का या कोड देखने का?
code समझने
Code समझने का. But okay, for this thing, अगर सिर्फ कोड समझा, will I be able to input something? लिखना नहीं आता, right? So both comes hand to hand क्योंकि little bit backend में क्या चल रहा है, वो हम लोगों को समझना चाहिए कि कौन से query से क्या फायदा होता है. That knowledge you should have. So best site I always tell to many of my students, sololearn.com. That is best site to understand what exactly basics of all the coding are. Right? It has more than 15-16 languages with database, SQL, Postgres, MongoDB, everything. So sololearn.com is one of the best sites. I am not like promoting anything, but that is one of the free sites, so you can always use it. Apart from that, first web attack is injection attack. So in injection attack, let's say I'm not going to display anything like practically, but Postgre is the site from where we can always refer. So in web attacks, what exactly happens is this wherever we see expos, we see any form, contact us का form, security boat का form, जहाँ लोगों को मैंने register किया, I am not attacking anybody. So जहाँ पे भी तुम लोगों को text box दिखा, वहाँ पे input जाना चाहिए. So that we will be able to get exactly backend में क्या use हुआ है. So best tool to use, like see what technology in the backend has been used. That is Backlizer. Backlizer is the best thing. We can just add the extension and we are good to go. Same thing in injection. It might be a cross-site scripting or it might be SQL. So these are the two forms. So CSR वगैरह वो बहुत दूर की बात होगी. पहले injection will come under XSS or else SQL. Next, broken access control. So what exactly broken access control is? Okay, before that, tell me the difference between what is authentication and what is authorization.
Authentication is verifying, authorization is
Authentic
Authorization means something privileged.
Best example? Yeah.
ऑथेंटिकेशन का मतलब ये है कि आप कुछ पहले ऑथराइजेशन से स्टार्ट करते हो. ऑथराइजेशन मीनिंग ये होता है कि आप ऑथराइज हो ये ऑपरेशन परफॉर्म करने के लिए. और ऑथेंटिकेशन का मतलब होता है कि आप एक इंटरव्यू लेवल पे जा रहे हो कि आप ये ऑपरेशन परफॉर्म कर सकते हो. तो ये ऑथेंटिकेशन.
Okay. Authentication, best example, Aadhaar card. Are you an authentic person or not? That you verify that give your fingerprints. Okay? Authorized person or not? Best example, तुम लोग अगर कॉलेज में जाओगे या फिर ऐसे एंट्री मारोगे तो तुम लोग को पहले ऐसे वो वॉचमैन आएगा, सो मेरा आईडी कार्ड. Same if अगर एक डीन walks in, she will have more privileges than us. That is the authorization that okay, she has that authority to handle the whole department. Okay, so that is the main difference that people should know. As he said, authorization is verification. Authentication is verification. Authorization is granting the access. Sorry, I was not remembering the words that. So granting the access is the authorization part. Privilege or not, depending on the like what exactly is it. Because HOD will also have privilege and D will also have, but they will have different rights. Okay. Next, broken access control. We were talking about. So in broken access control, what exactly do we break? Sir, access break करते हैं. आप बताओ पहले. आप स्पीक करो ना. Breaking permissions. Sorry.
Simple user admin get access.
Getting the admin access another in an unethical way. Okay. It was correct. मेरे में ऐसे थोड़ा सा क्रॉस क्वेश्चन क्या करके ऐसे इंटरव्यू की तरह भी बोल रहे कि नहीं शायद नहीं है सर. So I have the habit of like okay. In broken access control we try to get administrative privileges, but using that particular user or let's say we try to get the root access period. That is how broken access control works. Command injection attack. So command injection comes in different types. So in command injection, it might happen that we are sending that command through a file. File through? हो सकता है ना? PHP फाइल अपलोड करके. सब लोग ऐसे ब्लैंक क्या वाइट बोल सकते हैं? Reverse shell हो सकता है. So that is command injection. File inclusion attacks. Yeah? LFI. Best example. Cookie manipulation. So is cookie different and session ID different, or they both are same? Session ID and cookie ID.
Different.
Different. Sure. Different, no? And what is broken authentication then?
Authentication mechanism है उसको manipulate करना है.
Authentication mechanism
Make the login page whatever it is. A simple example of करना SQL injection जो करता है add
He's right.
or whatever.
Break something.
Poorly set up authentication. This is token authentication. The website is not checking the credentials and granting access to anybody. That is token authentication.
Okay. Can you give me a little bit example?
So I think
मैंने PayPal का दिखाया. Okay, now tell me PayPal का मैंने दिखाया. तो broken authentication किस वे से मैं अप्लाई कर सकता हूँ? When I am trying to input into that particular website.
One way will be we just enter the email address and after session cover normally it would be your return to you. और वो अगर ले लेता है access मिल जाता है तो वो token authentication sign करता है.
Okay.
for database we can use SQL injection, so we can retrieve all the data from the database.
Database से data okay
फिर
retrieve
आप
कर सकते हैं.
इंजेक्शन लगा के जो भी ब्रोकन आएगा क्योंकि वो चेक नहीं कर रहा है, प्रॉपर सैनिटाइज नहीं कर रहा है क्वेरी को कि
Okay.
क्वेरी क्या है.
Okay. Anything else?
Brute force.
Brute forcing. Hydra. Well, not just Hydra. Anything. Yeah. So these are different techniques of getting into the web application. So it might be client side, it might be server side. It depends on how we want to attack it. Okay. So as a beginner, I always make sure you solve all the different labs. First is apprentice lab, second is practitioner lab, and third is expert labs. Expert labs might take 8 hours, roughly 5 to 8 hours to solve one single lab. That's how expert labs are. So, in step by step, that's how you try to get into web applications and try to get the exposure. CodeSphere is the best free site. Second, if you want the latest CVIDs that you want to practice, so it has pen tester lab is not free. It is $34 for 3 months something for student, and I guess something $70-80 per month for professionals. So that will also give you best exposure, like बहुत high level exposure देता है वो. So until unless you complete course, you are going to go for pen tester lab. These are the two best platforms which are being introduced and recommended. Also, 450 companies try to tell their employees that please practice on CodeSphere so that you will be able to get into in touch with all the different web attack techniques. Okay, and that's it for the session. I hope I have not exceeded the time, but yeah, this is.